It's a fairy tale evening on Cox Sports Television. Tonight, Beauty. Preceded by the Beasts.
Say hard pride, that's it.
First up, NFL football returns to the Bayou as the New Orleans Saints get ready to tee it up in their annual black and gold game. Then the much-anticipated debut of Saintsations, Cheerleaders in Paradise, a behind-the-scenes look at the making of the 2004 New Orleans Saints cheerleaders swimsuit calendar. So sit back and relax because it's all coming at you next on Cox Sports Television. Live from Lafayette, Louisiana, Cox Sports Television is proud to bring you the first taste of the football season. And your New Orleans Saints, live from Cajun Field, it's the 2003 Black and Gold Scrimmage. Well, good evening, everybody. It's a warm day, actually warm early evening here in Lafayette. I'm Steve Martin along with Steve Court, and welcome to a night of Saints football and a lot of other things, too. And, of course, Steve, you were an 8-year veteran of training camps. There, after the first week of their training camp here, Jim Haslett says he likes training camp. Did you when you played?
In kind of a sick, demented way, I enjoyed training camp as well. I think veteran football players do enjoy it to some extent, but they more enjoy it getting over it.
Well, of course, this is a training camp that has an awful lot of optimism, really, especially hinged on the good health of Aaron Brooks. A lot of good things have happened.
Well, a lot of good things have happened, especially with him getting healthy. I think the fact that he's getting healthier from the standpoint of last year, he had a couple of bad games getting injured, and I think now the Saints are very optimistic from the standpoint of let's get Aaron on the field and see what we can do.
Well, the Saints had a 9-7 season last year. It's an up and down season, down at the end, but they were very up at the beginning, and they owned 2 wins over the eventual Super Bowl champion. Steve, let's take a look at the schedule tonight and show them what we're going to see here this evening. The players are going to take the field around 7:30. They'll go through their stretching. Then we'll see the special teams come out. And then the next order of business is 7-on-7 drills. We'll see just the skill position people there, won't we?
Well, that's mostly your defensive backs going against your offensive players, and what they do is a kind of a pass skelly. We used to call it pass skelly. Typically, it's going to be in the offensive favor because they know what they're doing, but at the same time, it's going to be it's pretty good. It's a pretty good exhibition of good football.
And another drill I think I like a lot is the red zone drill. Getting the offense wants to get the scores, the defense, of course, wants to hold them out, and their backs are against the wall.
Yeah, they play in a small field, what you call it. Usually, it's been inside the 10-yard lane or inside the 5-yard line. So they're just basically running their short yardage plays and their goal line plays.
And then, of course, the scrimmage itself. We'll get to that around 8:20 this evening, and we'll have 3 drives of 12 plays each. And I'm told that we're going to see a lot of the first-string type players, such as Aaron Brooks and Deuce McAllister in that first drive.
I would think on the first one you're going to see at least probably the first starting 11 on each side, or who they project to be in your first 11 on each side. And I think what they want to do is they want to get a taste of what it's like for the live ball. It's the first time you're kind of playing for real, and they want to see who shows up on film.
Well, of course, we get the first preseason game coming up on August 11th when they open up against Philadelphia. They shoot live ammunition on September 7th at Seattle. So it's a camp of hope. It's a time of hope. They've had an awful lot of opportunity now to get into their new facility. That's really helped them too.
Oh, it can't be anything but great. That new facility is going to make practice and those types of things so much better and so much easier. It takes the elements out of it. The guys don't have to worry about surviving. They can worry about playing football.
This guy used to drive beer trucks for a living. Now he is one of the top return men in the NFL, coming off a tremendous season with 3 touchdowns, 2 kickoff returns, 1 punt return, 1 of each in 1 game, which is an NFL record, and he helped the Saints to great special teams play last year.
If you continue with somebody like Michael Lewis returning the football for you and punt return and kickoff returns, your special teams are going to make some huge impact for you. It's going to help you win.
This is a team that has a lot of offensive weapons, but at the end couldn't stop anybody defensively. And we're going to talk with some key people here tonight. You're going to hear from Coach Jim Haslett, but you're also going to hear from Mickey Loomis, who's going to talk about some of the offseason stuff. They did an awful lot of work to improve this team.
They made a huge transition as far as getting the new players in here. There's a lot of young players. You look at that roster, and there's not many very veteran football players that are over about 4 or 5 years of experience. So there should be a great anticipation.
Well, of course, one of the good things that happened, out of the many things that happened this week, they got their #1 draft pick signed and in the fold and on the field. And standing by to talk about that is a guy who roams the sidelines on the LSU football Football Radio Network, Jordy Holper.
Thank you very much, Steve. And Stephen, welcome to Cajun Field. 15,000 fans plus expected tonight. And yes, on July 31st, though, the Saints signed their #1 draft pick. Remember, they gave up 2 first-round picks, the 17th and 18th overall, to get to the 6th position in the draft. They thought that highly of Jonathan Sullivan. He is 6'3", 6'1", 313 pounds. He forego his senior season at Georgia, where he started 13 of 14 games his junior year. What do they like about him? They like him enough to pay him a lot of money over 7 years. That's $19 million over 7 years. So Big Jonathan's going to come in. What do they like about him? A defensive tackle with quickness, with aggressiveness. He's really going to be penciled in the defensive tackle position, and they look for him to really contribute this season. He's missed 5 practices out of a total of 29. No harm, no foul. They expect Mr. Sullivan to pick up things quickly and to become a force on the defensive line. Because remember, Steve, the Saints last year were, the lunch bunch, but this year they've gone to slim fast, smaller, and a lot quicker on the defensive side of the ball.
Jordy, they certainly have, and Jonathan Sullivan's had an interesting week in camp. I mean, he came in, first practice was Wednesday. I went to practice last night, and he and Victor Riley got into it. So already the #1 pick's getting under people's skin.
Well, there's a huge adjustment for any rookie coming in, especially a young guy who's 21 years old coming in, and they expect a lot. There's a lot of pressure that a guy that's coming in as being a first-round draft choice. A lot of guy they paid a lot of money to, and a lot of expectations. So there's a lot of pressure on the kid, but it's all about responding. He's in the big leagues now.
Well, you look at what's ahead of him too, and the competition that he faces. Jonathan Sullivan's going to be thrown into that tackle situation going up against Grady Jackson. Of course, you got Henry Ford that they pulled in as insurance in case that there was a long holdout.
Good player. Well, what you do is big, hard, strong, fast people are hard to come by. There's just not many of them out there that can play that position. So you pay those guys a lot of money, but you also pay them to stop people. So Jonathan Sullivan's got his work cut. I mean, so does Henry Ford, but Henry Ford was a great acquisition for them. It's a veteran player that can come in, step right in it, and he's a veteran.
And of course, you've got a situation now. There's Sullivan right there out on the football field, number 97 out of Georgia, and Georgia's been a good pipeline for the New Orleans Saints over the last couple of years, and it was a good pipeline in this draft. Not only did they get Jonathan Sullivan, but they also got Stinchfield on the other side of the ball, Stinchcomb on the other side of the ball, an offensive tackle. Well, the 4th member of our broadcast team is a guy that you'll see here on Cox Sports Television with a variety of Saints programming. Ro Brown is standing by, taking a look at the first ever Saints playoff or training camp.
Thanks a lot, Steve Martin, and Steve Court. And we are here in Ragin' Cajun country, the University of Louisiana's Ragin' Cajuns. It's their home field, and the people here are really ready for this scrimmage. Now, I'm kind of surprised at the crowd as well, because, I mean, it's really just a scrimmage. It's just a practice session. But I guess when you don't get a chance to see a real professional football team in your area very often, you take advantage of the situation. A couple of things. You heard Steve Martin mention before that it'll be 36 plays that they'll run in the actual scrimmage. Before that, they'll do a little practicing. I think what you want to look for in a situation like this is not necessarily how the team looks, but I like to look at individuals to see how certain people look under fire when they really start hitting, when they really, having to catch passes with somebody really bearing down on you. Because practice, everyone looks the same in shorts to me, and everyone looks great in shorts to me. So it's good to see them out here in pads finally, at least for just a little while, to see them hitting and really getting into it. Now, it's somebody that I'd like to see personally. One, people want to see how Aaron Brooks looks, how his shoulder looks. That's one thing that they'd like to see, of course. And then Deuce McAllister coming off the big year. But who's behind Deuce McAllister? That's the big deal. Of course, you've got a pretty good competition going on back there between Curtis Keaton and, of course, James Fenderson. And one of those two guys will be the backup guy behind the Deuce. And then, of course, on the defensive side, that's where lots of changes. You'll be looking at people there. You'll want to see the linebackers. So that's it down here on the field. Steve Martin and Steve Court, we're going to kick it up back to you.
All right, thanks, Ro. Well, of course, depth was a problem at quarterback and at running back. Aaron Brooks will be the focus of tonight's play. We asked him early in the week what he thinks the importance to his game is of tonight's scrimmage.
Besides me not being touched, I think it's very important to treat it as if it's a real game. I want to set the tempo for the guys up front, let them know what type of tempo we're going to be having, making sure Deuce and I are on the same page, but at the same time, making sure the younger players are attentive and understanding what's going on, because that's mostly their time, and it's also my job also to be a teacher, and I want to teach some of the guys who know what are their mistakes, because it's going to be crucial for them to make this football team.
And that's important to note. You know, the first comment, Steve, I think said it all. I said, besides not getting hit tonight, I'm looking for a nice night. What do you suppose happens to the guy who lays a finger on the quarterback with the red shirt tonight?
I don't think that they're going to be very happy with him. They realize it's a long season, and you need to keep that guy clean, and I mean clean. You got to keep him. He's already had enough, and you know what happens when your quarterback goes down. So you don't want to get that guy nicked at all.
No, you certainly don't. And they don't want it to happen tonight, but they do want to get a glimpse of what they can expect out of Aaron Brooks, and I think the fans are going to be pretty happy about it as well. Let's go back down field side to Ro Brown.
You know, this is training camp number 38 for the New Orleans Saints. The first, of course, the first year of the franchise, 1967. We got hip-hop now, and then, of course, it was disco, but that was go-go. Look at the go-go boots. And where did the Saints hold their first training camp? Beautiful San Diego, California at Cal Western University. Look at that old-time blocking sled. Back in the days when football players didn't have muscles, but they did get things done, and they scrimmaged the San Diego Chargers. Old Furnace Face, remember him? Billy Kilmer at quarterback. They didn't do enough of this during the regular season, however. He hits Jim Hester with a nice touchdown. Didn't see a whole lot of that. Training camp, it's been a lot of different places here. Cal Western University was the first place. Then Bowling Green, that's Bowling Green, Ohio, not Kentucky, believe it or not. I don't know why they went up there. Southern Mississippi and Hattiesburg from 71 to 73. Vero Beach, Dodgertown, 1974. Nicholls State in Thibodaux, 1975. It was back to Vero Beach from 1976 to 1984. Then it was Louisiana Tech. Tom Benson bought the team, and the governor thought they should train here in New Orleans, so they came back to Ruston. Southeast Louisiana in Hammond in 1986-87. Jim Fink said, the weather's too hot. He took him to Wisconsin, La Crosse, and then it was back to Thibodaux, Louisiana, and Nicholls State last year. And now they are home in New Orleans. So they traveled around for about 37 years looking for a home for training camp. Little did they know, home was right at home for training camp. Back to you, Steve Martin.
All right, thank you very much, Ro Brown. And I think home is where they're going to stay. And the Saints-ations are here. You're going to see a lot of them tonight, both on the field and what they did during the off-season. And as a matter of fact, the Saints-ations in Paradise. That follows us. Cheerleaders in Paradise, it's coming up right after the New Orleans Saints black and gold scrimmage from Lafayette, Louisiana. More from Cajun Field right after this. Welcome back to Cajun Field, University of Louisiana, Lafayette campus. The black and gold scrimmage, and we're just minutes away from all of the activities here. Welcome back on Cox Sports Television. I'm Steve Martin, and along with me is Mickey Loomis, Executive Vice President and General Manager for Football Operations for the New Orleans Saints. And Mickey, thanks for coming up and seeing us here this evening. You got a great house going on. A lot of these people have been here since 1 o'clock.
Yeah, it's a really great turnout, and you know, they got to enjoy the Saints experience earlier, and you know, we're happy to be here and happy to have so many people and so many fans come out and see us.
Now, with the importance of having your own practice facility, you still have to keep in mind that you got to appeal to the fans regionally, and that's what this is all about tonight. What are your plans for the future for the black and gold scrimmage?
Well, you know, I think we're going to take it around the state, take it to different communities. It's a way for us to, you know, get out and get our players closer to fans. Mm-hmm. You know, we're a regional team. We're not just the team of New Orleans. We're the team of Louisiana and the Gulf Coast. And we recognize that. We know we got a lot of fans down here everywhere, and we want to be able to, you know, get close to them.
Mickey, also, the fans of New Orleans aren't left out of this mix either. You had a great practice the other night at Destrehan High School, something like 3,600 fans over there.
Yeah, we had a really good practice in Destrehan, and we've got Mandeville coming up, and West Jeff, and Tag Gormley, and you know, it's a way to get out in the outlying communities and have you know, fans with small children come and see us, and the players sign autographs, and it's a great deal for us because it energizes the players, and we get a more spirited practice, and we get more done, really.
Well, when you look ahead, there's other things that were done in the offseason as well. You were a very, very busy staff adding to this roster. People like Wayne Gandy, an offensive lineman who will plug that left tackle spot. He was a free agent signee out of Pittsburgh. You won't see much snow in Louisiana, but he'll see a lot of good football. And, of course, Orlando Ruff signed out of San Diego, and Ashley Ambrose coming back for a second tour with the New Orleans Saints. Mickey, when you take a look at it in the broad scope, what was your philosophy going into the offseason as far as the changes that you knew you had to make to this roster?
Well, I think primarily we knew we needed to get faster on defense, and we wanted to get stronger up the middle in particular. Ashley was a great sign for us. I'd like to say that was a great deal. We made a brilliant move, but we're also the team that cut him first, so we let him go. It was one of our first moves when we first got here. So we're glad to have him back.
Admit the mistake and come back. That takes a bigger man to do that.
We wanted to add some veteran leadership, and I think we did that with Ernie Conwell and Wayne and Orlando and Ashley, and we're expecting big things from Bubbacky Jones, obviously, and of course the draft picks are going to be impact players for us down the road.
And of course we mentioned Ashley Ambrose coming back for a second time. We talked to him earlier this week at the training facility and asked him how he felt coming back home a second time.
It feels good, you know. It's my second time around. I think second time is a charm, so instead of the third. But I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. I'm glad, you know, I got opportunity to be back here in front of my family and friends and playing. And I think it's really, hopefully I can finish out this contract, and it'll be a great way to end my career, you know, at home, you know.
There's Ashley Ambrose, a New Orleans native, and of course just finished his tour with the Atlanta Falcons. And Mickey, when you look at it, and you look at this team and the building effort that's gone forth here over the last 3 or 4 years, it's interesting to know you're going to have 11 guys, maybe even 12, who will start for you, who are your draftees or have been draftees of this team since the year 2000.
Well, you know, that's how you build a championship team. If you look at Tampa, for example, they've got a lot of players that all their core players, almost all their core players are draft picks. We need to do that, and we've done a good job of drafting. Randy Mueller before me and Rick Mueller, obviously, in our scouting department, have done a great job, you know, with our draft picks. They've made good selections. They've become impact players for us. We've got another class of draftees, and we expect some impact players out of that group. But that's what you have to do, and you know, you supplement that with free agents, and we've been able to do that somewhat. So that's the way you build a championship team.
Well, I know there are a lot of hopes for this team, and maybe the window is starting to open right now. It's a young team. You spend too much focusing on the last 3 games, you lose sight of the fact this team got off to a great start and beat the eventual Super Bowl champions. So.
Yeah, you know, we did falter at the end, and we've taken a long, hard look at that. We've got a couple of tweaks and things that we're doing, but really, you know, we're focused and we're ready to put that behind us. And our guys are chomping at the bit. I think they wish that we had a regular season game tomorrow.
Well, you know, it'll be soon enough, and I think Jim will say, "Don't rush this thing." But you talked about Rick Mueller, and he's standing by down on the field with Alro Brown on the sidelines here at Cajun Field.
Thanks a lot, Steve. The guy who has the job of getting evaluating players, evaluating talent, and he's one of the best young guys at it, and he's Rick Mueller of the New Orleans Saints. What do you look for? Now, I know we can name people that we want to see, but you and your job, you know, I mean, it's like your babies. You know, you brought them in here. You know, who are you looking at? Give us some of the people you look at tonight.
Well, it'll be interesting. We talked about it a little bit earlier. This is the first time we'll really hit somebody and tackle somebody and bring somebody to the ground in camp. So it's kind of an exciting night for us. But I'm looking for a couple things. I'm looking to see how Bubbacky Jones and Mel Mitchell play at the safety position. I'm looking for a running back to step up and take that job. And, you know, I'll be interested to see our offensive line gels together, too. And then, again, I'm looking to Jonathan Sullivan to see how he's looking, you know, 3 or 4 days into his camp.
How much better is the talent level of this team, assuming you feel that it is, Rick?
You know, that's a good question. We'll find out through the year, but I honestly believe this is the best Saints team I've had since I've been here, and you know, we've addressed our needs. We've made the changes we think were necessary, and I really think top to bottom it's a pretty good football team. A lot of time between now and January, but you know, obviously I think we've got a chance to compete, and I think we got a chance to go all the way.
What do you do now? You know, we say that, you know, we got everybody in, Jonathan Sullivan signed, but in your job, are you still kind of just, you know, scouring, looking around for possibilities?
We always are, and you know, we'll continue to do that. Right now, my focus is primarily on our football team. You know, we've got 86 guys under contract, and we're going to have to whittle that down to 53. So, you know, that's something that Jim and Mickey and I do together, and that's something that I spend a lot of time on. So right now, my focus is on our football team, evaluating the players that we have and making sure we end up with the roster that is the best for us. And while at the same time, we're always looking for other players. So if we think we can get somebody that'll make us better, we'll definitely go out and get them.
Does he look like a man who's expecting a child? Wants to see how it comes out? Rick Mueller, Director of Player Personnel. Back up to you, Steve.
Thank you very much, Ro. Well, they've been at practice for a week. The black and gold scrimmage culminates the first week of preseason training camp. And coming up, we'll take a look at all of those offensive weapons that set near records last year. The team that was too tough to stop, the New Orleans Saints. Their owner, Tom Benson, and more. It's all ahead of us. Black and gold scrimmage here on Cox.
34 million fishermen in the U.S. Hundreds are professionals. 61 qualify. But only one can be the best.
Watch and learn from the best as fishing's elite head to New Orleans for their shot at the most prestigious title in bass fishing. He's done it! The 2003 Citgo Bassmaster Classic, presented by Busch, starts Friday, August 1st at 7 on ESPN2 and continues Saturday and Sunday at 6 on ESPN.
I am so hungover.
And you've got to be at work in an hour.
How come you feel so good? You drank more than I did.
I took Chaser, remember?
Chaser?
Chaser tablets. You take them right after you start drinking, and you're guaranteed never to get a hangover.
Safe, all-natural Chaser absorbs hangover-causing toxins like a sponge, so you can wake up alert and energetic. No headache, no nausea, no regrets.
Looks like you should have taken Chaser, too.
Chasers at GNC and other fine stores. Call or click for your nearest location.
If you haven't been watching, then you don't know what you've been missing.
Soul Train Fashions, your school uniform headquarters, is offering quality name brand uniforms by Dickies. Soul Train Fashions has a large selection of uniforms for any school and for students of all ages. Soul Train Fashions has a variety of shirts in different styles and colors. Soul Train Fashions has the latest styles by Dickies, including the Dickies pants with the cell phone pocket. We offer accessories for girls, including bow ties to match your uniforms. So parents, come in now to one of our 4 Soul Train Fashions locations and put your school uniforms on layaway.
Welcome back to the University of Louisiana Lafayette campus, Cajun Field, for the New Orleans Saints black and gold scrimmage, culminating the first week of training camp for the New Orleans Saints. And of course, one of the big things this year is going to be the health of Aaron Brooks. With more on that story and the saga of Aaron Brooks last season, let's send it back down to the field and Jordy Holtberg.
Thank you very much, Steve. There's Aaron warming up, number 2, the red jersey on, no contact allowed on him. Here's a guy that has so many weapons at his disposal. He can lead this club. He had off-season shoulder surgery to his right shoulder. We asked him about his health going into training camp.
I feel great. I feel great. I put myself to the test after the 5th practice. Obviously, we had two tour-days and 1 day of just 1 practice. And I just wanted to know how I felt from that standpoint, and I came out feeling fine. No discomfort, no sharp pain, nothing that was very troublesome for me. So I'm feeling great right now.
Well, Saints fans can be fickle. Aaron told me he went to a restaurant during the summer and got booed as he walked in. He's going to use that as motivation to get going. The first 11 were dynamite. As you can tell by the tail of the tape, the last 5 not so good, and that's when the Saints lost down the stretch. Steve, what would you do if you got booed at a restaurant?
I make sure it wasn't during the appetizer, that's for sure. I continue the meal, Steve, tell you the truth.
It's one of those things. As a quarterback, you get more of the credit when you win and you get more of the blame when you lost, and that's part of indicative of the position. So.
Already in 5 years, he is fourth all-time in Saints history in total yardage and should move to third with 1,700 more yards.
He's a tremendous talent. He can both run the football and throw it, and he's a great leader.
Well, let's take a look at this team as far as statistically is concerned. When you look at Aaron Brooks out there, what they did offensively, they were pretty hard to stop in terms of scoring, yards per game. They were just very, very good offensively all the way through.
Well, they were pretty consistent, and that's the biggest thing. And obviously, when Aaron got hurt later on in the season, that's when they started losing some of their consistency, and obviously their record reflected that.
Well, when they couldn't show that balance on offense, you're right, and things started to fall apart. As far as defense is concerned, a much different story. The Saints struggled all season long in just about every aspect.
Yeah, they really did. At the beginning of the year, they were able to actually outscore some of their opponents at the end of the year. When Aaron did get hurt and they lost that balance, they lost that continuity, they also lost the ability to stop opponents, and then it was really reflective upon the scoreboard.
Well, as far as the personnel changes were concerned, and most of them happened on the defensive side of the football. And now we are just about ready for the playing of our national anthem, and the formal festivities will get underway here at the University of Louisiana Lafayette, Cajun Field. And let's turn things over to our PA announcer, T.D. Smith.
Forces. And now, to honor America, the veterans of all our armed forces, and the men and women in uniform serving the cause of peace and freedom throughout the world, please join us in the singing of our national anthem.
Official sporting event here at Cajun Field, playing of the national anthem and the color guard here as well. Well, let's go back down to the field where Jody Holberg is standing by with Saints Director of Administration, Arnold Falco.
Thank you very much, Steve. Arnie, did you ever anticipate this? Look at the crowd behind us. Over 18,000, you told me now. So, boy, things are hopping.
It's fantastic. We got the greatest fans anywhere, and for the people of Acadiana to show up like they are, and it's a great day. We've had a great interactive games out here. We're going to have a great practice tonight, fireworks. I can't say enough about our fans.
The season opener is right around the corner when you think about it, and season ticket sales have really started to go up. Like a new record could be had if things go right.
Oh, I think so. We're 9 days away from that opener. We're about 1,000 short right now of this all-time record, and we got a week to go. So I'm real hopeful we're going to break it and exceed it. And again, what a great testament to our fans.
For all those watching on Cox Sports Television now want to buy a season ticket, what do they call? Who do they call?
All they got to do is call our office, 731-1700. They can log on to our website, NewOrleansSaints.com, and we'll take care of them. We'll show them the seats, and we got a lot of good seats still left.
You're energized.
I'm pumped.
Are we going for a 16-0 season? What's the deal?
We're going Super Bowl. You know what? Our fans deserve a Super Bowl, and we're going to get it to them.
Well, that's Arnie Falco. Always the eternal optimist. You got to love it. Steve, boy, he's ready to go. So are we. It's about time to play a little football, and so are these Raging Cajun fans who came out in full force to see the Saints this evening.
I tell you, 1,000 away from that record, and I understand that after Friday's practice, they sold 44 season tickets right over at the Airline Road facility of the people who were over there at practice. There's Rick Venturi, who is the defensive coordinator. This is an unusual night, and we get a few free passes here and there, and one of them is being able to put a microphone on Rick Venturi, the defensive coordinator, and on Mike McCarthy, the offensive coordinator. And we'll get an opportunity to see just how they communicate with their players. There he is, Rick Venturi, in his third season as defensive coordinator for the New Orleans Saints. And you can hear him interchanging with some of his players as he comes off the field. You take a look at the points of emphasis that he's going through for this team to get better, and you know, they're pretty much the ones you would expect. Eliminate the big plays. This team fell victim to the big play.
Absolutely, and if you can stop the big play, you give yourself a great chance to win.
You've got to stop people on the ground, and you also have to initiate a pass rush. That's why a guy like a Jonathan Sullivan is here.
Absolutely, and I think the more pressure you can put on a quarterback that throws that timing off, and the better chance you are of creating turnovers as well.
Jim Haslett talked incessantly about making plays. This is what this team did not do, especially in the closing weeks of the season. You got to control those loose plays from different formations, also plays from screens. They spent some time studying the screen, not only offensively but defensively, with the Patriots staff.
Well, yeah, they got burned a couple times last year, really big on some screen plays, and once you figure that out as a defensive coordinator or offensive coordinator for another team, obviously they say, wow, we're going to go to the well here a couple times to see if we can get some big plays on these guys. And sure enough, that they were exposed as having a weak team against the screen. So
well, they bring in guys like Bucky Jones, and they bring in Ashley Ambrose comes back for his second tour to go with the other secondary people that are there. It's obvious they mean business about defense.
Again, the calculations that they made by getting those veteran players was a key thing for them, especially those guys being around other winning football programs and coming in here with that leadership role, teaching the younger guys how to play that type of game. Great part on their part to do that, personnel guys.
Well, let's move over to the offensive side as far as the New Orleans Saints are concerned. Offensively, they have two great weapons. We've already talked about one in Aaron Brooks. The other would be Deuce McAllister.
Absolutely. Great talented running back guy that makes good cuts. He's got great balance. He's a workhorse type of running back. Catches the ball well out of the backfield. From my understanding, they're going to throw the ball to him a little bit more this year and see if they can open that part of the game up for him.
Deuce McAllister, of course, 1,344 yards a year ago. He was slowed as well by injuries late in the season, but got it cranked up near the end, and of course had an excellent season for the New Orleans Saints in only his second year as a starter. They felt convincingly enough about him that they were able to let go of Ricky Williams to an end.
Well, I think it's indicative of the way he is as far as being a durable, kind of a productive kind of a runner. He's a real low-key kind of guy. He's a leadership. He doesn't talk a lot, but he does it mostly by example. And I think the guys respect. I know as a former offensive lineman, you always respected those kind of running backs, those kind of Dalton Hilliard kind of guys that really just came in there with their lunch bucket and went to work. They knew they were going to get hit, but they also knew that, hey, they can go ahead and tote the mail.
Well, you speak about the lunch bucket. His was a little bit full prior to coming to camp. Matter of fact, he purposely came in a little bit heavy. We asked him earlier about that, what it all meant to do that.
You come in to work, you come in to get your body right. You know, if you're going to have an injury, it's usually going to be in that first week because that's when you're trying to get back in the groove of things. And, you know, if you can dodge that first week of injuries, then usually you'll be fine for the whole year or, you know, at least through the preseason. And, you know, from that point, it's just business from then on because everything is for real.
Deuce McAllister and the rest of the New Orleans Saints stretching out on a warm night here in Lafayette at Cajun Field with a great crowd that'll stretch toward 20,000, ready to see the New Orleans Saints go through their annual black and gold scrimmage. Jim Haslett hoping for big things. This is a big night for him. First night that he sees his guys go angrily against each other in this black and gold scrimmage. More from Lafayette right after this.
To Cox Sports Television all season long as the New Orleans Zephyrs battle for supremacy in the 2003 Pacific Coast League season. The Zephyrs take on the Iowa Cubs Friday, August 15th at 7.
TLC wants you to know the switch is on.
Let's trade spaces.
With just $1,000 apiece, how can I get the most bang for my buck? 2 teams and 2 enthusiastic designers. I don't want to do anything if I don't have to. With 2 rooms. Put me in the closet, I'll have a great time. Get 2 days to completely redo them. There's just no way you're going to be able to do that in 2 days. The results?
I think I made a woman cry once.
Too good to miss.
She hated everything.
It's Trading Spaces, Saturday nights at 8 and weekdays at 4, only on TLC.
If your life has been devastated by mesothelioma, the rare form of cancer caused by exposure to asbestos, you have legal rights that could result in a cash settlement worth hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars. And it won't cost you a cent unless you win. Our affiliated law offices have won millions of dollars for victims of mesothelioma and their families. We know how to make companies pay for their mistakes. It's a fact. Companies whose employees have developed mesothelioma because of exposure to asbestos have paid hundreds of millions of dollars to the victims and the families of deceased victims. Know your rights. Get the money and the justice you deserve. And remember, you don't pay us anything until we get money for you. Get treated with respect and dignity. Get what the law entitles you to. Get the money and the justice you deserve.
Call 1-800-435-6809.
It's a night of New Orleans Saints football, the black and gold scrimmage, followed by the Sensations in Paradise. And it's all coming your way on Cox Sports Television. By the way, Saints game plan and Outside the Huddle are your keys to knowing what's happening on and off the field with the Saints. Check your local listing to catch your favorite Saints program right here on Cox Sports Television, your home team advantage. A big night for the New Orleans Saints as they get their first look at their players under pressure. Standing by with Coach Jim Haslett is R.O. Brown.
Thanks a lot, Steve. Jim Haslett, 4th season, 10-6, 7-9, 9-7. What do you think about this situation here? First of all, this crowd, surprised to see it?
Well, yeah, we were expecting about 5,000 or 6,000 people, and it's nice just the the turnout, and obviously that the players appreciate it, and it's going to be fun tonight. These guys are going to get after each other.
How different has training camp been for the coach, that you can do it at home, the convenience of it all?
Well, it's the time management is the most convenient. You don't have to drive around. You have a lot more time to spend on football, and I like it from the standpoint that players like the hotel, and the indoor facility has been great for us.
What do you look for tonight?
Guys that can tackle, first of all, on defense. We haven't done much tackling, and execution on offense and special teams.
Aaron Brooks' shoulder. A lot of people asking about that. How does it look? I mean, that's the most famous shoulder in the state right now.
Well, you'll get a chance to see it tonight. He's been throwing great all week, and he'll have no problem tonight.
You were a player, a very good player. Did you like scrimmages? Because I talked to some guys that say, I don't need to do that. Start the season. How did you?
Well, some do, some don't. And we try to figure out who needs the most work. But, again, there's a lot of guys out there that are going to have an opportunity to make this team. We're going to take a good look at them tonight.
You had Tom Coughlin in for a couple of days. He walked into your new indoor facility. He said what? I think he echoes your sentiments.
Oh, he thinks it's great. He didn't have it in Jacksonville, and he thinks it'll get a couple wins for us. So hopefully he's right.
All right, Coach, thanks a lot. Jim Haslett. All righty. Coach Jim Haslett in his 4th season. This should be the big year number 4. Over to Jordy Hultberg.
Well, thank you very much, Ro. We've talked about Aaron Brooks and how his shoulder feels good. And boy, does he ever have an arsenal of wide receivers from which to choose to throw the football to. Well, you can start off with his main man, his 3rd straight Pro Bowl appearance, Joe Horn. Signed a big contract, had big numbers. He is the guy that separates, makes the big catch, and then can take it the distance. Joe Horn, threat number 1. Threat number 2, Dante Stallworth. As a rookie, the first NFC player to catch a TD in his first 4 games, led all NFL rookies in TD receptions. Before he got hurt, he missed 3.5 games, but look at the speed as he stretches the defense down the field. Wide receiver number 3, well, Jerome Pathon. Quick, a good slant-in pattern, gets it done. The trifecta of wide receivers that Aaron Brooks has to choose from. And look at these. The veteran and the rookie combined over 112 receptions, 15 touchdowns. They combined for almost 37% of the Saints offense. Stallworth still competing for a spot as he is battling Pathon. But now, what about the tight end position? Here's another one from the St. Louis Rams. Ernie Conwell talked about this team as compared to the Rams.
is I think the first similarity that I notice is the speed. You've got great speed at wide receiver here, and that's what I've come from. And obviously you got great talent at quarterback, a solid offensive line, and the numbers they've been putting up the last year or two has been phenomenal. So I'm just hoping that this offense maintains its pace, hopefully gets better, and I think the rest of the team continues to improve, that we're going to have an opportunity to be a dangerous football team.
Those receivers, you also add Deuce McAllister out of the backfield, and boy, oh boy, if the defense can just get better than they were a year ago, remember, they're going to be faster and quicker. The big question tonight, all the coaches want to see is, can this team tackle? The Saints want to raise the roof in the dome. We'll be back to Cajun Field as Jim Haslett and the rest of the Saints put on a scrimmage. It's called the Black and Gold Scrimmage, and it is live here on Cox Sports Television, so don't go anywhere. Football, NFL style, coming up next.
Has begun for college football on Cox Sports Television. Hear every beat, see every play, catch all the action.
Welcome back. There's a member of the Saints-ations. You'll see more of the Saints-ations a little bit later on tonight. Really a lot more in paradise. We're at Cajun Field, Lafayette, Louisiana, which is a football paradise tonight. The Black and Gold Scrimmage for the New Orleans Saints. And, of course, join us Friday, August 15th here on Cox Sports Television at 7 p.m. as the Iowa Cubs go head-to-head with the New Orleans Zephyrs right here on Cox Sports Television. Z's are looking to make the playoffs, see if they can get there. They're in second place in their division right now. That's Friday, August 15th at 7 o'clock on Cox Sports Television, your home team advantage. Steve Martin here along with Steve Court. Of course, Steve, an 8-year veteran of the NFL with the New Orleans Saints, drafted out of Arkansas, first pick. Of course, you were a defensive lineman, as you told me, in college. They switched you over to an offensive lineman. You were center here with the Saints. You went through 8 of these camps, and of course, there's always the fear of the Turk, who comes in and gets your playbook and takes it away and ends your pro football career. And for a lot of these guys that are on the field tonight, that's probably about 3 weeks away.
Well, you know, I was very fortunate that never happened to me, but I saw enough of it happen to know that that's a very painful time of the year. And as a training camp, and especially as a young guy, the audition, and this is kind of a long audition for these guys that we have to look at. The eye in the sky doesn't lie, and these guys are under the microscope every single day, every single play. They can't afford to have a bad practice. You might be a good enough player to make the NFL, but you might not be able to make it here. So these guys are you know, the time's coming.
Well, this practice will play a role, and then, of course, there are 2 preseason games before there should be a cut down. Let's take a look at just what the preseason schedule is. Of course, the preseason opener with Philadelphia in the Superdome, then at Giants Stadium to take on the Jets on the 16th, then at 3Com Park, and then comes that first roster cut from where they are now, 88 down to 65. Then another preseason game with Miami at the Superdome to finish out the preseason, and then the final roster cut down to 53.
Absolutely, and every single one of those games is important. The only thing is, each one of them gets more important as they go on. The veterans know it. The veterans actually get more time as the preseason goes on, and more games. They start trying to get a continuity of building that, kind of letting both those teams and things like that gel. And then you also get a situation where the younger guys are getting less and less and less time, so they each have to make each one of those count.
Well, it's talking about making things count. You know, when you've got that type of dynamic, sometimes some strange things happen to your starters or your number 1 guys. Such a thing happened to Michael Lewis this week. With more on that story and more about the star kick returner of the Saints is Jordy Holtberg.
Thank you very much. You see Michael Lewis with no shoulder pads. He is not going to play tonight. On Monday, serves a cervical sprain to his back in a collision on a drill that's very much similar to what's going on right now with Mel Mitchell. But he's a true rags to riches story. Special teams extraordinaire. He's the guy that puts the lightning in the Saints engine. You kick it to him, he's a threat to take it the distance every time he touches the football. Always makes it look easy, and he can really turn on the jets. They call him the beer man because prior to being with the Saints, he was driving a beer truck around the Crescent City. And in this game, one of the rarities, a kickoff return for a touchdown and then a punt return for a touchdown against the Washington Redskins. Michael Lewis voted to the Pro Bowl as a special teams player, and boy, can he get it done. But as we said, out tonight, precautionary reasons, just to heal him up, to get ready for when it counts. Michael Lewis getting it done. And here you see the same kind of drill as we take it back upstairs before that. But look what he did now this season. NFL single-season record for punt and kickoff return yardage. A Pro Bowl starter, made the first NFL roster at age 29. Didn't go to college, but he can catch punts and he can catch kicks and take it to the house. Steve, back to you.
Thank you very much, Jordy. We just saw, or you're just seeing special team work on the field right now, as a matter of fact. And one of the featured players we haven't talked about yet is one of the new acquisitions in the offseason, and that is Mitch Berger, who comes over from St. Louis after a long stint with the Minnesota Vikings. That's a valuable acquisition, and he averages, last year he averaged 41.5 a game.
You know, a punter does a great job of pinning the other team's defense or the offense down in the end zone. They can also get you out of trouble. So those guys are, I mean, when the money's on the line, you want a good punter.
Berger has a 43-yard average. And there's Mariscal, who will back him up. But Berger is a guy that's going to be worth watching. Saw him in practice yesterday at that new facility, and even though that ceiling is something like 78 feet high, he hit it a couple of times.
He was pounding it, yeah. Both those guys are invaluable. They got great legs, and that's the reason they're in there. Once they get in there in that kind of circuit where they just float.
He spent most of his career with the Minnesota Vikings, last year with the St. Louis Rams, and now, of course, with the New Orleans Saints. And, of course, he replaces Toby Goen, who moved on elsewhere in the NFL. So Berger is going to be the man on the spot, and he's getting a couple of kicks in. And he'll be holding for John Carney as well when John Carney goes out there to kick PATs and field goals. So here's Carney getting ready to kick under live fire, under the eyes of Al Everest, who is the NFL's best special teams coach, voted a year ago. That kick splits the uprights, and so we are continuing toward black and gold scrimmage time here at Cajun Field in Lafayette. More about the special teams, and we'll come right back.
Wyatt Earp and his boys were outlaws at the OK Corral. The British acted in self-defense against those Beantown bystanders. A lucky shot ended the Red Baron's high-flying career. It's okay if you don't know, because this time history is the one being tested on Unsolved History, a series from the Discovery Channel. Because the only fact you can be sure of is history will never be boring again. Unsolved History at its new time, Wednesdays at 8 on the Discovery Channel, of course.
So, do you hate baseball?
No, I like baseball. I just never understood how you guys could spend so much time discussing it. I mean, I've been to games, but I don't memorize who played third base for Pittsburgh in 1960.
Don Hoke. Don Hoke.
Beat you.
Baseball tonight, all season long on ESPN and ESPN2.
For the best sports coverage all along the Gulf Coast, keep it tuned to Cox Sports Television, your home team advantage.
If you haven't been watching, then you don't know what you've been missing.
Are you ready for hit? After hit? After hit? After hit? 99.5 WRNO presents Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Straight American rock and roll. There goes the last. Special guest Mavis Staples. August 26th at UNO Lakefront Arena. Tickets are on sale now. A Beaver production for Cox Media.
Great fan support here for the New Orleans Saints at Cajun Field in Lafayette, Louisiana. Black and gold scrimmage, not too far away in our future. And of course, we were talking about special teams before we went away for the break. We sent Jordy Holtberg in search of the beer man, and he's got him down on the sidelines. More on the special teams with the special team returnee extraordinaire, Michael Lewis.
Look at that smile. But he still wants to play. Michael, how you feeling, first of all?
I feel pretty good. Actually, I was going to do 7 on 7 today, but Scotty told me don't worry about it. Just go ahead on and stay away and just do my conditioning right now. You know, when they start practicing, just do conditioning work. So, I mean, I'm cool with that, you know.
That's what happens when you become a Pro Bowl player.
I wish so. I mean, Joe Horn, a Pro Bowl for 3 years, man. He's out there right now. You know, I would love to be out there right now, but, you know, I had my accident. It happened. Right now, I wish I was out there with the team, you know, showing the fans out here, you know, what it's all about, you know, being out here. But, you know, I had a nice and long autograph session for a minute.
You sure did. You sure did. When you're out there in special teams and you're getting ready to receive a punt or receive a kickoff, what goes through your mind and what gets you in that area where you can just take it all the way?
Well, the only thing that goes through my mind is actually just catch the ball first and then let everything else happen after that. I mean, that's the main thing, is just catching the ball. And I mean, that's what I worked on and everything. Make sure I feel the punt, feel the kickoff, and then just let these other guys. I mean, I got 10 guys that's in front of me, man, that does their job. I mean, excellent. So, I mean, when they make their blocks and everything, I mean, I just follow behind them. I set up their blocks for them. And when I see a hole, I just explode through it.
Now, take a look now. You're not here. Somebody wants your job. Look at the screen real quick and talk about Jerome Payton returning his kick.
I mean, Jerome, he's been in the lead a while. I mean, he's backing me up on kickoff and everything, kickoff return. I mean, I don't have a problem with that. I mean, if he want it, baby, you know, I'll tell you like I said any time before, you know, it's out there to come and get it. I mean, I hope you don't think I'll lay down for it, though, but nah.
No, we don't think that's going to happen, and I'm sure he wants you out there as well. But I know you've been asked this a million times, but I ask you 1,000,001. Rags to riches story. You remember the days back driving the beer truck, and do you mind being called the beer man, or we want to call you the Pro Bowl man?
I mean, you call me what you want. I mean, it's all good. The most important thing is being called the beer man, you know, just bring me back to my roots and everything. I mean, that's one of the good things about everything, you know, let everybody know where I come from. When people see me, they can see me as a regular person because I come from the working world into the NFL. And then a lot of people look at me as, you know, oh, I'm living my dream through Michael. So, I mean, I don't mind. I mean, it's great, you know, that people remember where I come from, you know, and I'm not out there, you know, not talking to nobody, anything like that, you know, like I got this high, I'm over everybody, I'm this, that, you know, I just feel like I'm still a regular guy.
Well, no question, what a great year. Take a look at this now. Who's this? Keo Craver? Now, you got to teach him the right way to return kicks. Now, his own man stops him.
Well, I wouldn't say his own man. Only thing is, you know, we out here, I mean, you got different guys out here. You don't know who is on what team right now. So you're just running around. You don't know if this guy for you or he's blocking for you. But, I mean, Keo, he's a great returner as well. I mean, you know, step out there and do his thing, you know. I wish I can watch him when they start scrimmaging, but I'll be out there getting my work on.
We need the Pro Bowl man, number 84, back on the field. Good luck, get well, and we'll see you when it counts.
All right, thank you.
All right, Michael Lewis getting it done here, doing a good job interviewing and watching his teammates return kickoffs like Jerome Payton, who's taking it up the seam right there. Steve, Michael Lewis said he could talk forever. I believe him.
I believe he would. You know,
you got him a little excited, Jordy, when you started threatening him.
Threatening to take his job. That gets his attention. That's got to be, I mean, you know, Jordy asked him, what are you thinking when you're back there to receive a punt? In my mind, it's the loneliest man in the world.
Well, you know, the thing they always tell you to do is look that ball and concentrate on, first of all, catching that ball. Because the worst thing you can do is fumble that ball, you know, turn it over in a situation like that, deep down in that, you know, either in your end zone or close to your end zone. So you catch the ball and then let things happen.
And you got to have confidence in the men that are in front of you. And obviously that confidence, that chemistry existed on Saints special teams last year.
Yeah, Al Everest is a great, you know, especially a special team minded coach. His father, Andy Everest, was a special teams coach when I was there many times, many years ago, I should say. But nevertheless, obviously it hasn't fallen too far from the tree.
That's Keo Craver taking the kick of Mark Mariscal now, and he'll go up the sidelines. And everybody's going to get a chance to run big yardage, but it's not a full contact day, as you would say.
Right, they're not shooting live bullets out there right now in this situation here. They're wanting to make sure that everybody knows what they're supposed to be doing as far as in their lanes on kickoff coverage, and the guys are picking up the right guys on the kickoff returns and run the returns the correct way.
They're working on special team stuff right now. They've got the punting drill done. They've done the field goal drill. Jim Haslett now watching his kickoff return teams. And probably it is useful that Michael Lewis is out, because now you got to look at somebody you can rely on when an injury happens under live ammunition.
Well, you kind of know what Michael Lewis is going to do. You know, he's been there, he's proven himself. So now you got to find some guys that are also going to be back there in case he does get nicked during the season, which is going to happen. It's going to happen to everybody.
One of the great stories of this Saints training camp right now is the fact that Dale Carter, defensive back that the Saints pulled over as a free agent a couple of years ago, is going through a full camp this season. He's got his problems behind him, and right in front of him he's got Ro Brown. Ro?
Thanks a lot. You would have been hard-pressed to find a better cover guy in the National Football League over the last decade than this guy. DC, Dale Carter. Dale, how you feeling?
I feel pretty good. Obviously, it's not good enough to play in the scrimmage, but it's coming. It's coming.
Itching to get out there?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Anytime you got a crowd, you know, rooting for you and out here watching you, you always want to play.
You know, it's been well documented what you've been through, and this is about your first training camp in a while.
Yeah,
you know, in 4 or 5 years. Talk a little bit about that.
Oh, it's kind of fun. You know, I'm just happy to be in training camp. You know, I'm one of the guys that now that I told all the guys I'm gonna get the full effect of training camp. You know, I catch the shuttles. I don't even drive my car. You know, I catch the shuttle, bought me a little blow-up bed and everything. So I'm feeling the whole effect of camp.
You're different. You're a different person than you were last year. You know, you were very quiet. You were kind of aloof last year. And this year, I see you out there on the practice field. The fans are a little closer, and I see you interact. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, first of all, you know, once you put the man above in your life, you know, you're always going to be happy. You know, you just put him first, and he'll lead you the right way. But, you know, I'm happy to be out on the field, and it's amazing, man. I just feel like my career just began. I feel fresh and fresh legs, so I'm just ready to get this thing started.
Ashley and Dale, they're in their 30s. They say they're too old. What do you say?
Just watch me on Sundays.
DC, Dale Carter, thanks a lot. All right. Dale Carter, Saints defensive back. Let's go back up to Steve.
Thank you, Ro. And I think Dale Carter is going to be an interesting acquisition for this team, and so does his head coach, Jim Haslett, who talks about the impact of having Dale Carter at the beginning of training camp.
Well, it's his first camp in 4 years, and he's probably been one of the best surprises out here from a standpoint. He's really into practice. He loves training camp, and you know, he tells you when you're out of football, you're out of the sport that you grew up loving and playing, that you miss it. And he's done a great job. It's rubbed off on everybody else, and if he can stay healthy, we're going to be a much better team.
You know, from that aspect, Steve, you look at Dale Carter going through camp for the first time, and you can't minimize that, because he came in at midseason, right. 7 games. He started the last 7 games of the season, and really when you think that he's going to get a full camp, and you've added Ashley Ambrose, and you've also added Bucky Jones to the secondary, you made some rapid improvement there. You've gained some veteran help.
Absolutely.
But you got some athleticism back there.
Well, Dale Carter is arguably one of the better cornerbacks in the league. Obviously, talent-wise, you know, he's right up there with the Deion Sanders type of talent kind of people. But anytime you added somebody like you mentioned before that has that kind of athleticism at that position, you've done yourself a great deal. This guy, obviously, you can tell that he realizes that his career is really close to being something that almost was over for him, and now he's got that renewed enthusiasm.
He's sitting out tonight because of knee tendonitis in his left knee. We're watching the 7-on-7 drills. Let's talk about this. You get the big linemen out of there. Here we get the skilled people. We get a chance to see the field. What's the value of this drill?
This is 7-on-7, which is or we used to call it pass skelly, and this is with your special teams as far as your special players, which is your receivers and your wideouts and your fullbacks, your running backs going through as far against your defensive backs, and they know it's pass, and so you actually get to see the routes that they're running, and you also get to see the strength of Aaron Brooks. I've watched him a couple times here. It doesn't look like he's feeling any ill effects at all from his shoulder.
Well, look at him there. He's getting ready to get under center here right now, and of course we've got Rick Venturi, who is on microphone tonight and talking to his defensive backs and also talking to his coaches. And there's a completed pass for Fenderson, James Fenderson. There's Rick Venturi.
Under 89 win.
So he goes to Winston
Come on,
Moss.
Jay, stay underneath it.
He's yelling at his defensive backs. He doesn't want to give up that route too easy.
No, I know. I'm going to tell him. Hell, we're giving you reps to at least do some of that stuff well.
He's talking about giving the younger guys reps, and what that means is he's giving these guys some chances. He doesn't want them to give up on it.
Here's Brooks again.
I see that's a hard throw to make with a guy with a bad shoulder, and he did a great job of it. And he's well.
He's making more of those throws all week. There he is again.
Good mechanics. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with him.
He threw it. They did a red zone drill last night, and he threw it. He checked off the linebacker, stared him away from Jerome Pathon, and Pathon, he just drilled him in the end zone. I mean, he's really having a good preseason camp. And 3,500 yards last year. He's only 1,700 away from moving into the 3rd spot overall in Saints history.
Well, I tell you what, it's good to see him be able to throw that kind of ball, especially with the zip that he's half on.
Well, let's go back down to the field and Jordy Holberg.
You just saw Deuce McAllister's availability out of the backfield. I've taken a keen interest in Aaron Brooks. He's thrown the ball 9 times, guys. He's completed 7 and had 2 drops. He's thrown a variety of passes, slant ins, deep outs. The only thing we haven't seen from him is the long ball. But so far, looks like the arm is in great shape. Back to you.
Well, drops were a problem, and they had something like 40 drop balls last year, maybe even more than that.
Yeah, you can throw the ball great, but unless somebody on the other end is catching it, it's not going to do you much good.
Spencer Frederick caught that pass out of Todd Bowman. Todd Bowman's going to be an interesting study. They let Jake Delhomme go to the Panthers via free agency, brought Bowman in, and Bowman has some pretty good credentials.
Interesting story on that guy. It's almost like trade for trade. And I know Jake was one of the favorites down here because of where he's from, but nevertheless, it's almost this Bowman and he they mimic each other a lot. They have some of the same tools. Now Bowman has got a rifle for an arm, and he has got great experience. So I think he was basically going to overshadow some of what's happening at Culpeper when he was in Minnesota. So I think it's one of the reasons that made him expendable.
You saw him hit a New Orleans native, Talman Gardner, who is the seventh round pick of the New Orleans Saints this year. There's Gardner. Yeah, and Bowman got some pretty, as you said, got good experience under fire when Culpeper had the problems 2 years ago and went down with the injury.
Yeah, and from what I can understand from talking to some of the personnel people up there, he actually was beginning to kind of take over the leadership roles in a lot of situations. People were kind of looking and hoping he would almost kind of take over in those situations, which was going to create some controversy. And I think that's one of the things that made him available, if we say.
That's a rookie, Zach Hilton, out of the University of North Carolina. And here's Torrey Woodbury. Let's take a look at Woodbury here. He came in, just signed this week after he was released by the New York Jets.
That's good concentration on that football right there.
Hilton played under John Bunting, former defensive coach with the New Orleans Saints.
Old Philadelphia Eagles linebacker.
That's right. There's Woodbury out of Winston-Salem State. And here's Aaron Brooks again.
See these quick outs that he's throwing when he's actually backing up and able to do that, he's muscling that ball out there, and it's coming out of there strong, fast, with a lot of zip on it. I don't see any problems at all with his arm unless it's hurting him. He's not showing anybody.
Jerome Pathon is the intended target that time.
Boy, great mechanics, great follow through, and he's just, dude, what a talent.
Saints are carrying 5 quarterbacks here in this preseason camp, looking to carry 3 on the roster.
Yep. They'll need him, and I'm not to say I'm not wishing any ills on Aaron Brooks by any stretch, but they'll need him from time to time. Everybody always gets nicked. I don't think there was really too many quarterbacks at all that went through the entire season last year.
Well, I think that here we are on August 2nd, and this campaign won't end until the last weekend in December, and then probably even later for this team. There's Derek Lewis, who caught that pass.
Let's hope it goes deep into January.
Yeah. Derek Lewis, interesting study on the practice squad all of last year. And Lewis also hails from New Orleans, played at Clark High School.
Don't know if that ball would have been caught or not.
Let's see what is this Todd Bowman back there? Yes, it is. This is Bowman. One more time.
Nice ball.
Thrown in the direction of Zach Hilton, who was covered very well that time.
Threw it into double coverage, but he did show you a little bit of that arm strength there.
And Derek Rogers, who was also acquired by Miami in the offseason, he's also from New Orleans. Making the stop there. Let's go to Jordy Holtberg with more on Aaron Brooks.
I talked to Aaron Brooks and said, you know, there's only one football and you have so many weapons. How do you keep everybody happy? And he said, well, you know, it's not an easy thing to do, but it's my job as the leader to do my correct reads, my correct checkoffs, and get the ball to who's ever open. And hopefully we will have a mature team that won't get caught up in the statistics, only the statistic of winning. But he says, you know, everybody always tells me I was wide open on that last play. So very difficult thing to do, but it's his job as the quarterback to spread the wealth and to keep everybody happy. But put points on the board first.
Jordy, everybody's wide open.
Yeah. I'm wide open, Jordy.
Oh, I don't know about you, Nick.
Just throw me the ball.
And, you know, we've talked about his throwing ability, but we also have to talk about his running ability. And that's one of the things that makes the Saints such a dangerous team. The balance that they have totally in their offense, the balance that they have out of the quarterback.
You know, you're starting to see that kind of league-wide, and it's coming from the colleges. What they're able to do now is use that. Not only they got pure passers back there, but they got guys that can scramble around. You got your, you know, people like Garcia. You got people that scramble. And it was all, you know, Steve Young several years ago was known for that type of situation where, you know, you don't get in trouble just with your, you know, arm. All of a sudden you get out of it with your feet.
Rel Smith, fullback, making the catch that time. We've also seen Chris Finland, who has come in here out of Northern Illinois, played a year in Europe. Aaron Brooks on the ground is a threat, as Steve says. He goes over into the end zone in the win against Chicago. In the
great talent. I mean, he's almost a Michael Vick type of a guy. Related to Michael Vick.
Yeah. Speaking of Michael Vick, he's playing against his team right there. There's a gain against the 49ers as he tries for the end zone.
He's one of those sneaky fast kind of guys. It doesn't look like he's moving real fast, but he's eating up a lot of ground.
His effectiveness as a passer, though, gains him extra yards as he throws that one to Derek Lewis.
You know, the thing I'm impressed about him, and each and every year I am impressed about him, he typically makes stupid mistakes. He's very calm and cool in the pocket, and I think it's just reflective on his demeanor. He's the same way when you talk to him.
Mike McCarthy gives him the signals, and he'll step into the huddle and get ready again. Fenderson, I believe, is in the backfield this time with him. Joe Horn split out wide. Pathon's in the slot. And so you've got the first group of receivers with Stallworth to the bottom side of your screen there on this 7-on-7 drill.
Fade route.
Yep.
Stallworth. Nope.
Good coverage.
A little overthrown, but good coverage.
Keo Craver.
That's a good one to overthrow if you're going to overthrow it. Otherwise, it's almost always picked.
Well, let's sneak in and peek on what Vic Venturi's talking about.
We're 5 diamond. It'll really help if you want to choose between the 15 and the 5, because that's where the 4 shit. Out here, it's touchdown check down. Down there, it's 7. Really, that's the best place. This is red 54. That's there. With 1, there's always the changeup. You know what I mean? 1 is the changeup.
We're going to need an interpreter, I think. But Rick obviously likes some of the things that he sees down here.
Yeah, what he's doing is he's seeing where some of the where some of the receivers are cutting their routes off, and he's telling them what kind of coverages work well in these situations, especially backed up in the end zone the way he is.
Tough place to defend. You're not
Makes it a short field, that's for sure.
Well, you're not going to be playing zone down here.
No, you're not. You're going to be man on man.
Somebody's got to miss, and oftentimes that happens. And with a good quarterback,
all crossing pattern. Check. That's McAllister. That's probably his 2nd or 3rd receiver.
And that's J.T. Sullivan doing the throwing. Many think that he's 3rd in line behind Brooks and Bowman, with Woodbury and Finland trying to fight for him with the position.
Looks like some talented young quarterbacks.
And I'll get a red 7. Got it. I don't care what you do after that, but I'd like to get him 1-7.
Aaron Brooks again.
Press it up.
It's a good look off when he overthrew it.
Looking for Zach Hilton again. And he is not tall enough to catch that one on the end of the end zone. We're at the black and gold scrimmage. The New Orleans Saints' first week of training camp is over. They're now 9 days away from their first preseason game. And attendance tonight, a very strong crowd here in Acadiana. 18,036.
Unbelievable.
That's some football tradition down here at the University of Louisiana Lafayette.
For a practice. It should give you some idea of how rabid these football fans over in this part of Louisiana.
There's great fans all over the state of Louisiana.
Good look off. That's a good fade right there.
Oh, yes.
Good adjustment.
And that is going to be Kareem Kelly, although they rule him out of bounds. Kelly, 6th-round draft pick out of Southern Cal, 15 career touchdowns at Southern Cal.
I think he's the guy that basically made Carson Palmer, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
I think he did.
Yes, he did. And Carson Palmer, of course, playing with the Cincinnati Bengals as the first pick in the draft. And there's Kareem Kelly, who played for Pete Carroll last year. And here's Todd Bowman again at quarterback. These are the 7-on-7 drills. The linemen are out. It's just the linebackers, the DBs, the receivers in the backs, and the quarterback.
Boy, looked at him the whole way.
And that is, that's going to be, that's Terrell Harris.
It's a good little slant pattern from the corner.
He's out of Tulane. 5'10", 187. There's Bowman. Little slant in.
Good thrown catch.
Thrown right in front of Ashley Ann.
Almost got to overthrow that one.
7-on-7s are done, and Jordy Holberg almost got a handle on that football.
I wanted the interception to take it the distance, but that's going to wrap up the red zone drills, and now we're getting ready to play some football, guys. That hurt.
This is what we're playing. You should have caught it, Jordy. Wouldn't have hurt you.
Hey, no fair steam in it. All right, we're just about ready for the next part of the format, which will be 3 12-play drives. The black and gold scrimmage is coming your way next from Cajun Field in Lafayette. More coming up on Cox Sports Television.
Welcome back to Strawberry Stadium. After an 18-year silence, the roar of Lions football is back. Caught at the 30. It's a foot race. 20, 10, 5, touchdown Lions!
Southeastern football is back. For season tickets and general admission family passes, call 1-866-LION6 now.
It's new.
All new.
100% like never before. Brand spanking new.
Hey!
New, 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 new.
A new season of Surprise by Design.
New stories, new ideas.
All new surprises.
I've got a whole new show. If you can dream it, now you can do it. Go ahead, seize the daytime.
An all new season of Surprise by Design.
And my brand new show, It's Christopher Lowell. Discover what's new on the Discovery Channel.
Weekdays at noon and 2.
Do you want to own a computer, but your credit is less than perfect? If you have a checking account, home phone, and can afford a weekly payment for just 12 months, you're approved for a brand new brand name computer, guaranteed. That's right. If you have a checking account, home phone, and can afford a weekly payment of just 12 months, you will get a brand new brand name computer of your dreams with no credit check and just $19.95 to get started. No credit? Bad credit? No problem. You are approved, guaranteed. If you have a checking account, home phone, and can afford a weekly payment for just 12 months, call right now because you are approved for a brand new brand name computer no matter what your credit looks like, with no credit check and just $19.95 to get started today. It's time to call Financing Alternatives, computers for everyone.
Call 800-430-9244. That's 800-430-9244. Don't wait. Call right now. 800-430-9244.
Stop after the game. Coming up next on Cox Sports Television. Well, we're proud to debut the Saints-ations, Cheerleaders in Paradise. Better turn up that AC because the night's only going to get hotter.
I don't know how it could get any hotter than it is right now, but maybe it will.
Oh, yeah. And trust me.
It will.
Steve, you watch this, it'll get hotter.
It'll be hotter.
Yeah. Different type of heat, but it'll be hotter. The Saints-ations, there they are live here at Cajun Field, as we are too, on Cox Sports Television, the black and gold scrimmage. And what we're seeing now is the first of 3 drives of 12 plays, starting at the 30-yard line, and this should be primarily the first unit, both sides. Aaron Brooks in at quarterback. Ernie Conwell. We've got Derek Lewis as one wide receiver to the top side, Jerome Pathon to the bottom side. And Deuce McAllister behind him, and he'll take the first carry.
A nice little cutback play, but not much there. Good by the defense on that.
Looks like the first defensive series as well. See Martin Chase getting up with the tackle as well. In the middle is Darren Smith. He is, so McAllister is out, actually, and that is going to be Curtis Keaton, who is behind.
Maybe those 13 pounds have caught up to him.
Well, he's going to be, he's going to be in conditioning. That's right.
I guess he is.
Yeah, I like to use that excuse with my wife. Honey, I want to be about 10 pounds heavy because, you know, I just think the vacation's coming.
Yeah, I'm going to tell him that. I can't play today because I'm a little bit overweight.
I had a couple of French fries. Catch complete out to the 41-yard line. Fred Thomas making the stop on Jerome Pathon.
That's a nice throw by Aaron.
And they'll move the chains on that one. It's technically a first down. Everybody goes through down and distance as they normally would in a game. You put your personnel groupings in same way.
What you're trying to find out here is good continuity. You're trying to get a rhythm as far as the quarterback set a tempo a little bit. And as a defense, you're trying to do the same thing on the other side of the ball. It's kind of everybody getting their formations the correct way, line up in the defense quick, and then execute.
Seeing a lot of Derek Lewis in this drive as he comes in motion.
Play action.
The pass rush. Howard breathing down his throat.
I see that's something that right there is an error on the offensive line. That was way too much pressure, especially this early on.
You mean they came pouring in over the rookie
came
side?
pouring in.
John Stinchcomb. Grant and Howard put the pressure on Aaron Brooks.
It's going to be a long year, Rook, if you step in the bucket like that. Aaron's going to get hit in the mouth, and you're not going to appreciate it. So you don't stay around for long when you do those.
So it's an incompleted pass. Brings up 2nd down and 10. Nose of the football out by the 35-yard line. This is Lewis again and Stallworth, the wideouts.
You know, it's interesting, Steve. This is the first time a lot of these guys have ever seen actual football at this speed.
See if they get to like it. Sullivan is in there, defensive tackle on the right side. The screen pass thrown out to the flare, and that is Keaton, who gets up to about the 38.
That was a good job by the defense. Had everybody covered up. He only had his safety valve.
Boy, I might want to keep our eye on Jonathan Sullivan, who's been in camp all of 2 or 3 days.
He's got fresh legs, though.
Yep. Rookie out of Georgia, signed on Wednesday, actually Tuesday night. Came into camp Wednesday afternoon for his first session.
Boy, his head's got to be going 100 miles an hour right now.
3rd and about 15. Sullivan at that left rush tackle position. Here's Brooks. Oh, incomplete.
Overthrown.
Intended for Pathon.
Boy, he had him too. Had him wide open in the seam.
Mel Mitchell was in the area. Mel's been subject to some controversy this week.
Yeah, I think he's the one that kind of did he one that put the hit on Michael Lewis, or actually ran into him, huh?
Yeah, and he had a little altercation with Terbucky Jones as well. And that was his teammate.
Hey, he's just playing the game he was supposed to be playing.
Mel, a special teams player a year ago, getting a start at the strong safety position.
Good size, good attitude. Got to have a guy like that back there.
So they'll rack up a 1st down situation here now with Stallworth wide left and Derek Lewis wide right.
That's a little lead play right there, and they missed the inside linebacker.
And that was the inside linebacker at that time. Looked like it was Orlando Ruff. Or actually, no, it was Darren Smith. 11-year veteran out of Miami. 2-yard gain by Curtis Keaton, who's battling to be the backup to Deuce McAllister.
They're going to need somebody back there. As good as Deuce is, he's going to have a rest from time to time.
James Fenderson also battling for that position. A nice cutback.
That's some good hard running right there. That's close to a 1st down.
A stack of defensive linemen in on it, including Cedric Hodge. Now when Deuce goes down, look at the production and the carries and the experience go down dramatically. And of course, Deuce McAllister with 14 touchdowns a year ago. James Fenderson out of Hawaii with 1. And Curtis Keaton with 91 yards in support his 4th season.
Boy, you know, anytime your workhorse running back goes down, there's got to be somebody in there that steps up that wants that job.
Curtis Keaton is an interesting story. He started his career at West Virginia, had meningitis and a life-threatening disease, recovered and transferred to James Madison. He carries up over the 40-yard line to the 42. A gain of about 3 on the play, and making the stop, Willie Whitehead. And Whitehead is a guy that Jim Haslett talked to us about. He says that Whitehead may be a surprise in camp, coming back and battling for the position at that rush end.
I hope so. He's a good contributor. He's been a contributor the last few years with them. Solid guy, comes in, plays hard each and every time he's in there. Always seems to make something happen. I'm really glad they kept him over this offseason.
Talman Gardner is now split wide to the right. The slot is Ernie Conwell. Looking in that direction, Brooks comes back with a screen to Keaton, who can't hang on.
And that's the kind of thing they've been trying to work on, is some of those screens, because they realized how exposed they were last year to them. They want to see if they can turn some of that around and use it on the other team.
In fact, coaching staff paid a visit to the New England Patriots camp, and one of the areas that they've worked with the New England staff because they do screen passes fairly well, and they picked up some pointers there, and they want to see more of it. We talked to Aaron Brooks about that. He kind of likes that aspect, and Jim Haslett and Mike McCarthy was talking about it here a couple of days ago. So,
well, screens are interesting because what they do is they make the defense play so honest. They can't just put their ears back and pin their ears back, go straight up field the whole time. They have to respect that a little bit.
Well, pass rush is what it's all about. Pressuring the quarterback and doing things he doesn't want to do. This is a 2nd down and 10 situation as we're about halfway through this drive, well over halfway. Brooks And the pass incomplete for Pathon.
Good throw. Just overthrew him.
And covering on the play is going to be Ashley Ambrose. Ambrose, New Orleans native, and also making his second tour with the Saints. As you look at Aaron Brooks. There's Ambrose. A lot of people say, well, you know, you got experience. You might have lost a step in that secondary, but experience.
Sometimes that experience makes up a lot for that lack of step.
I like the fact you've got Ambrose, Jones, and Carter, and then Mel Mitchell looking to make the fourth member of that secondary at strong safety.
I think it's a good combination. It's the best they've had in a couple of years, that's for sure.
This is going to be a third down play for Brooks. Oh, Grant almost got him. Now still out there in space and throws out of bounds.
Now, see, that's what I'm talking about as far as Aaron Brooks having that athletic ability to get out of trouble. That was a sack for probably 90% of the quarterbacks in the league.
Most definitely. Most definitely. And unfortunately, he had his receiver standing out of bounds when he got the ball.
Unfortunately, you got to know where you're on the football field.
Yeah. But that one's attached to Curtis Keaton's shoulders, certainly not Aaron Brooks.
No.
They'll move the ball back to the 30. And this is the first of 3 12-play series. 12-play drives. This is number 12. And then they'll bring another unit in. We may see that this might be the end of Aaron Brooks' tour tonight as Todd Bowman and the rest of the other quarterbacks line up to take their shot at running the offense. There's Brooks, steps up, and nothing is there.
He got beat on the inside again.
Yep.
Left tackle got beat on the inside again. That's kind of a straight path of that quarterback. He's kind of dead in the water at that point.
That's the end of the first drive. Let's head to the sidelines and Jordy Holberg.
Thank you very much, Steve. You're taking a look at Tom Coughlin right there in the blue cap and the gray shirt, former coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, invited down by Jim Haslett to take a look at his team. This is something that Coughlin has done with the Dallas Cowboys. He'll do with New England, but he is giving Jim Haslett a perspective of the talent of his team through his eyes as a former NFL head coach. And Jim Haslett has welcomed him. We already talked about him promising Jim that having that indoor facility would get them at least one more win this season. That's the first and last time you'll ever see Tom Coughlin ever smile at a guy in a striped shirt. Steve, can you believe that? Can you believe that? But well, there's the old war general right there, Tom Coughlin.
He's already been in one camp. He's also going to Houston to visit the Texans.
Is he going to guarantee them a win?
Another win would get him in the playoff. That'd be 10. They could have used it last year. Here's Bowman.
The bubble screen.
Yep, Talon Gardner.
And the naked bubble screen.
Got a bounce by Jay Bellerman. And gain on the play of about 9 yards. As we watch Bowman, who comes over in a trade with the Minnesota Vikings. He played some time behind Dante Culpepper, took over for Culpepper in the 2001 season, and had a nice stretch of 3 games with 3 starts. St. Cloud State.
You know, Steve, they're going to miss him more than we're going to miss Jake Delhomme. I hate saying that, but I like Jake. He's a great quarterback, and I hated to lose him.
And off here, this is Fenderson. James Fenderson, as he's trying to make that backup position behind Deuce McAllister, who we will not see again tonight. He's doing conditioning. We're not going to see Dale Carter. We're not going to see Michael Lewis.
Well, they got a number of guys that are kind of nicked a little bit too. I don't think they're trying to probably get well before they let him back out, you know, especially in a live situation like this as well.
As you watch Todd Bowman go to work, let's go to the guy who worked the first series, Aaron Brooks. He's standing by with Jordy Holbrook.
Thank you very much. Well, your goal prior to this scrimmage was, number 1, I don't want to get touched. They touched you a couple times, big fella.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of the game. Obviously, we don't have all our main starters playing tonight due to obvious reasons. But no, but it's a time for those guys to get in there, get some reps, understand what's going on out there in the game situation. So, you know, I'm having fun. I'm quite sure they are too.
You look like you threw the ball very well in the 7-7 drill. You had a couple of drops. Looked like you had a lot of zip on the football.
Yeah, actually, my shoulder feel very fine, very fine. I'm actually to make all the throws. You know, I'm just doing what coaches asking me to do, and you know, just making sure everyone is still staying in tune on what we're doing.
You got a lot of weapons. Now, Deuce is in there conditioning. You fed him too much in the offseason, but you keeping everybody happy throwing the ball around and spreading it out well?
Yeah, that's what I try to do. I mean, it's not enough footballs to please everyone, but any chance I get, I try to make sure everyone touches the ball. And Mike does a great job calling plays and getting those guys into the game because we're going to need them. So it's been good, man.
All right, so this is the most valuable shoulder right here, right? It's in good. Tell us it's 150%.
I won't be as bold to say that, but it's ready to go.
Right.
It's ready to go.
Go cheerlead over there. Have fun tonight.
Yeah, I got my pom-poms.
All right.
Just not the dress, though.
Go Wahoos. Aaron Brooks, former Virginia Cavalier, done for the night, and he looks good and felt good and says his shoulder's in top shape, guys, so back up to you.
All right, thank you very much. The defense looked pretty good that last time around. We saw James Allen get in and make a sack of Todd Bowman. Of course, they don't actually get to tackle the quarterback, but if they get in there untouched, the play stops. And it's the same effect.
That's encouraging to see Aaron Brooks in such good spirits, because that tells me that is his shoulder does feel good. He came out there. I think he felt pretty good that he threw the ball well. Obviously, they didn't move the ball real well, but he felt good. So that's encouraging.
James Fenderson just got introduced to Jonathan Sullivan. I mean, head on, pad to helmet, and it didn't feel too good, I don't think.
Hello, young fella.
Hello. It's had an interesting week in camp. As I talked about it earlier, he had a nice little altercation with Victor Riley last night during practice. And Riley got the better of it, actually, both physically and verbally. He said some things I had to write down that were very creative, but unfortunately, even though this is cable, we can't share it.
Well, you know what they say, if he'll buy as a pup, he'll buy as a full-grown dog.
Pass is complete, and that is to Walter Raspy.
Good catch.
Raspy is a 10-year man out of Wake Forest, trying to make this team behind Ernie Conwell and David Sloan as tight ends, and Boo Williams also in that mix.
Boy, they got some good ones out here. They got some great tight ends here. I will say that.
Could be good enough where you might only have to carry one fullback. Maybe.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I think, yeah, they could be multiple kind of guys.
Ro Brown is standing by with more of that receiving core. He's got Jerome Pathon and Dante Stallworth.
Thanks a lot, Steve. It is perhaps one of the strongest parts of this team, the wide receivers core. Of course, there's Joe Horn, and then there's these guys also. They contribute just as much. Dante Stallworth, Jerome Pathon. How did it go out there? It was a short evening, but how did it feel to finally, get into a situation where it was a little hot, at least? Better than practice.
Oh, yeah, it was good to get a little contact out there. I hadn't had any since last game, and it was good to get a little contact out there, but we're still out here competing. Everybody's competing, trying to get ourselves better as a team.
Jerome, how about it?
It wasn't too bad. We missed a couple shots there. Like to see us a little bit more crisp. But, we're doing all right. We're doing all right. I mean, a couple key players are missing, Joe and Deuce. And those are some big players for us. So, but we went all right. We're out there just banging up a little bit, get a good feel.
Say, what about this guy returning these kicks tonight, man? What did you think of it?
I loved it.
He was missing on one of them. Thank you very much.
I loved it. He can have me. He's doing a great job back there. Keep it up.
He can take it. I guess it was the practice of picking up that kid and running down the street, right?
Yeah, right. No doubt. I'm sure that definitely helped.
What about Aaron? How's he feeling? You guys see it. You guys catch the passes. Does it have as much steam?
Yeah, he's getting back into his regular form. And like I said, we're just working right now. He's getting himself better. He's still working on the shoulder to get it better and stronger. And we're all working together as a team. And like I said, we're trying to we're coming out here to work to be the best offense in the NFL this year.
Joe doesn't mind telling anyone, but how does this receivers core on this team compare to others around the league, Joe?
I'm going to say we're one of the best, if not the best. I mean, we got so much speed and talent at receiver right now. I mean, you guys only see us for a little short stint here, but you see us in practice. I mean, we're looking pretty good right now.
We had Derek Lewis. We got a pretty good 4x100-meter relay here. If you put me in it, even I could run with these guys. I could do it. We could do under 40 seconds.
Yeah, right.
Jerome Pathon and Dante Stallworth. Thanks a lot, guys. Back up to you, Steve.
Ro, you give new definition to anchor.
Ro, I didn't know you were that fast.
He isn't. Fourth down play. We've got a flag on the play. This, I think, is the 10th play of this drive, this 12-play march. I want to remind you while we have a moment, this copyrighted telecast of the New Orleans Saints black and gold scrimmage 2003 may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the express written consent of Cox Sports Television. We'll send Jim Haslett after it. Set it up on another first down here in the defense's territory at the 47-yard line. This is Todd Bowman at work. He's got Kareem Kelly on one side. He's got Derek Lewis on the other side, and James Fenderson as his setback. Demetrius Smith is the fullback.
It's a long ball.
Going to air it out. And mix up there with Craver and Lewis as they jostle for it and play volleyball with the end zone. Dangerous place to do it.
It's a good play by that defender. Good play by the corner.
Keil Craver's made some key stops here.
Yeah, he has.
And you want to talk about good defenders. Well, our Jody Holtberg standing by with one right now. He's got Ashley Ambrose, one of the new Saints on the sideline.
A new Saint, but an old Saint. Led this club in interceptions with 6 in '99. Now you're back for a second tour of duty, and maybe the second time is a charm rather than the third.
Yeah, you're right. The second time is a charm. I think, well, I know this team here is most definitely better than the last team I was on. We got a lot of talent, a lot of guys that's competing out here. I mean, we're fast. We're a much faster team than we were. I think we're one of the fastest teams out there in the NFL this year, and I'm looking forward to it this year.
How much time does it take for a defense to gel with so many new faces from so many different systems all coming together at one time?
Well, that depends on what guys you have. You know, if you have guys that's willing to go in there and study and know what they have to do out on the field, you know, you can gel quickly. And I think we're doing a great job. You know, I think what really happened was coaching sessions really helped us a lot. We did a lot of studying together. And, you know, we're trying to just be a team with togetherness, and we're just trying to find a way to get to that Super Bowl.
No place like home, right?
No place like home.
Ashley Ambrose, thank you. Welcome back, buddy.
All right, thank you.
All right, Ashley Ambrose going to go back to the sidelines as well, and we're going to go back upstairs to the booth, to the Steve Squared game.
Thank you. That's doubled in my parlance. Anyway, Steve Martin along with Steve Court. This is the 13th play of the drive. They're usually going to set up for 12 typically, but they're going to give this second unit a couple of extra reps. They've called a holding penalty against the offense, so they want to back them up a little bit and see what's going on here. Todd Bowman is at quarterback. There's Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis performs in other arenas as well. Of course, he's from New Orleans, and he sang the national anthem at the soccer match between the U.S. and Brazilian women on July 13th. You know, fall means football, and the seasons are about to change. Join Cox Sports Television as we bring you your favorite college teams like LSU, Southern, Southeastern, and many, many more of your Gulf Coast schools. It's all here on Cox Sports Television, your home team advantage. The teams come off the field for the final 12-play series. We'll be back with that and the sensations and more on Cox Sports Television. Welcome back. University of Louisiana, Lafayette campus, Cajun Field, black and gold scrimmage for the New Orleans Saints. Curtis Keaton, Aaron Brooks standing on the sidelines. We're in the third 12-play drive and final 12-play drive of the night. Let's go to the defensive side of the ball. Pick up Roe Brown, who's got defensive end Darren Howard.
Thanks a lot, Steve. 25 sacks in his first 3 seasons here. No other defensive lineman in New Orleans Saints history has ever turned that in. Darren Howard, breakout season, I think, for you. I'm looking for that in year 4. Are you, and if so, why?
I'm looking forward to it. You know, I think it's going to be a great year for me. I've worked hard. You know, I'm injury-free. I'm not coming off a major injury like I've done in past years. So everything's looking up for me, you know, and especially for this team, it's looking great. And I think this whole team's going to have a breakout year.
Jonathan Sullivan feeling getting his first little action out.
I don't know, man. It's only like his 3rd day out here, so we got to give him some extra reps so he can catch up with everybody else, you know, make it hard for him. But he's doing good. He's doing well, and he's going to be a good player in years to come.
The important question in the marketing situation with the commercial, did you really destroy that vending machine?
Yeah, that was a real machine, man. One take. You know, they wouldn't even let me feel how heavy it was. They just told me to hit it. So as soon as I walked in the room, they said hit the machine. So it was time to go right then.
It's easier, machine or quarterback?
Quarterback. No more machines for me. I'm through.
Darren Howard, New Orleans Saints defensive end, saying from now on it's quarterbacks, no more vending machines.
Jim Haslett couldn't agree more. Thanks, Ro. Oh, we're looking at J.T. Sullivan now, who's moving the black team up the field at the 46-yard line, actually. He's got Walt Williams behind him as his setback.
Saints got some good depth. For the first time in a long time, they got great depth, especially at quarterback.
What about the receivers? I mean,
yeah, there's going to be some very good football players that are going to be on the street.
That's right. You got guys like Kareem Kelly and Tallman Gardner. And, of course, one of the newest Saints defensive backs is Bucky Jones, fresh over from the New England Patriots. And standing by with him is our Jody Holtberg.
Thank you very much. It's always nice to be able to talk to a guy that's gone to the Super Bowl, that brings size and quickness and a mean disposition to the defensive side of the ball. Talk about your visit to the Saints so far. What do you think about it?
First of all, I've been down here 3 times, played down here 3 times before, here, college, Super Bowl, and won all the time. So hopefully I'm bringing some of that luck down here with me. And I mean, it's nice to be here. The biggest thing for me, you know, just getting adjusted to the heat down here is real different, hot. I mean, humid. Even up north, it could be 85 degrees and with a nice breeze. But down here, you can have a breeze and still can't even breathe out there.
You had the mountains up there, but you get better cell phone reception here.
Better cell phone reception. My phones don't cut off every 2 minutes just because I'm going through trees and mountains. So.
What do you bring to the table for this club? When this trade occurred from New England, what did the Saints organization tell you that why they want you?
I'm big, fast, bring some speed to the defense. I mean, with the young guys, Mel and them, he's fast too. I can go out and instead of putting dime nickel in all the time, like when a team put in 3 receivers, I can go out and cover the receiver too because I have corner experience. So that's probably like the main thing. Go out there and do that and give the guys that, you know, I've been to the Super Bowl, so I know how when you get to the end, how you got to grind it out. And once you grind it out, the game gets faster in the playoffs, but it also gets a little easier because you got that confidence.
I hope that luck continues, man. Bring it to us, please.
I'm bringing it, baby.
To Bucky Jones. Thanks a lot. There you go. All right, always selling tickets. Steve, back to you.
All right, thanks, Jordy. Yeah, they're 1,000 away from a team record of season tickets, over 53,000. You have 51,000 in heavy change right now.
I tell you what, they just each and every year just never ceases to amaze me.
This is the 7th. They've gone 7 plays of this 12-play march. There could be more for Jim Haslett's 3rd unit out here. Torrey Woodbury now is at the controls. Woodbury picked up, as we said earlier this week, when he was released at his own request by the New York Jets. They wanted to play him at wide receiver. He was a quarterback in college. And he wants a chance to pull the levers here right now. And he's going to go upstairs in a hurry.
Nice ball.
And a nice catch.
Dropped it.
Dropped it out of bounds. Oh, too bad. That's Will Pettis, 2nd-year man.
Well, you got to show us his arm strength.
Yeah, well, he aired it out.
Best throwing wide receiver I've ever seen.
He says that wasn't the job description.
That's right.
He had all the time in the world and wafted a beauty out there. But Pettis.
You got to catch those.
Oh, yeah, Pettis.
Golly.
Pettis couldn't catch up with it, and that brings up 2nd down for Torrey Woodbury.
Pettis, you can't have too many with those, Chief. You're going to be on the bread line.
Harris and Shaw split wide out to the right side, and Pettis again to the left. There's some movement. Left defensive tackle offside, and a near interception there by the rangy Corey Hall. Noticed him last night in practice. He's off a big 6'4".
I think somebody jumped on the offensive line, drew somebody off.
Yep. Corey Hall out of Appalachian State. Pretty good Division I AA program. So they'll go to 3rd down here. And Torrey Woodbury, I believe, on the 10th play of this drive, 9th play. And they are typically, or technically now, 3rd and 10 from the 30. Challenge for offensive coordinator Mike McCarthy. Still got the same young group out there. Pettis to the top side. Out of the shotgun, Woodbury. Now he shows us a little bit of his running ability. And Woodbury run out of bounds there by Lenarius Elfage, of course, from Tulane.
Looks like a wide receiver trying to get out of bounds.
Yeah.
He didn't want to hear that.
You got it. You got him into that wide receiver thing, haven't you? He says, look, I'm another version of Aaron Brooks. And standing by with another veteran, especially on special teams, Roe Brown has Fred McAfee.
Thanks a lot, Steve. Freddie McAfee. Saints had 4 Pro Bowlers last year. He was one of them on special teams, the special teams player extraordinaire. You didn't get in on any 36 plays, but you don't really care because you did a lot of special teams. How's special teams looking this year?
We're looking excellent. We have a lot of young guys, a lot of new linebackers, like, you know, some guys who just need to get in there and just get a little playing time. And everybody not going to be able to play on the starting level, so special teams where they're going to make their mark.
You are the leader of the special teams. You're the captain, so to speak, of special teams. So during this time of year, do you look at these new guys and say, hey, you know, he'd be good. He'd be good on kickoff. He'd be good on punt.
That's exactly what I do. I do a little evaluation similar to a coach. You know, I just say, hey, coach, hey, this guy's fast. He's big. He's strong. He might be able to help us on kickoff or punt or something. You know, they take it all in, and then they make their evaluation. But, yeah, I'm just like the coaches. I'm going out there and, evaluating guys myself.
Second time around here in New Orleans for you, Freddie Mac. Did you ever dream you'd be around this long?
Well, I never really thought about it. I just kept on saying, just 2 more years, 2 more years, 2 more years, 2 more years. Then I added up to 13, so, I never thought I'd be around this long, but hey, I'm just happy to be here.
Fred McAfee, we happy you're here too.
All right,
thanks a lot, man. Back up to you, Steve.
Thank you, Ro. Devron Harper just picked up our first turnover of this scrimmage set. Actually, he has played quite well in the pass before that. A long pass from Woodbury down to Will Pettis again. He defended Pettis very well.
At this stage of the game, I'm surprised that we haven't had more turnovers. That's pretty indicative that the team is not playing sloppy.
Well, you can't help but think it's continuity in practice given by the fact that they don't have to move all over the place when it starts to rain.
Well, it's a good fact, too, that they're focusing on what they're doing.
Good long 2-hour practice last night. Here's Woodbury with a little flare.
Well, he's got an arm, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
He can throw it.
He can kind of. That was Ira Gooch. And let's get back down to the sidelines to Jordy Holtberg.
Well, I'm here with a Lafayette native and the man of the sea, right? Old man of the sea, Jerry Fontenot's been playing forever, it seems like, but you look great. How you feeling?
You know what? I feel really blessed to be where I am now in my 15th season. I had a great offseason working out. Been able to stay healthy since
98. You hadn't missed a game since 98?
Yeah, the only playing time I missed was 98 whenever I blew out my ACL, and I missed those 12 games. But my body feels really good. I must have good genes and ate a lot. Easy for me to say. Ate a lot of good rice and gravy here in Lafayette growing up, so I got taken good care of.
Offensive line, the team is only as good offensively as the line does and blocks and protects. Your viewpoint of the offensive line early on in this preseason camp?
We have a lot of potential. LaCharles Bentley, going to be one of the best guards in the game. Right tackle, either Spencer Falau or Victor Riley. Either guy that plays is going to be a great asset to our team. And then Kendall Jaycox and Wayne Gandy. Sorry, Wayne. I think we've got a very good mixture of experience and a good mixture of youth and talent. And I mean, those young guys kind of keep Wayne and I young and hungry and really experiencing the NFL through a different set of eyes. I mean, we're able to lend them our experience, but they lend us their excitement.
Stay healthy and good luck this year.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
All right, Jerry Fontenot, boy, what a class act and really what the NFL is all about, Steve.
Yes, he is. Jerry Fontenot from here in Lafayette, where we're playing on Cajun Field. New Orleans Saints black and gold scrimmage. They're the Saints-Sations, and we'll see them following tonight's scrimmage in the not-too-distant future. Saints-Sations, cheerleaders in paradise, the making of the swimsuit calendar.
Don't believe a word of that, Steve. Jerry Fontenot's the finest athlete out there in the field, as all centers are.
Well, you would know, wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
Steve Court for 8 years.
Way to go, Jerry.
There you go. Centers are the smartest guys out there, aren't they? Walt Williams is having a pretty good series here. Gets another first down for the black team, the offense, under the controls of Torrey Woodbury.
And they moved the ball. This first offense has moved the ball as well as they have against the defense tonight.
Exactly. Speaking of the defense, standing by with Darren Smith is Ro Brown.
Thanks a lot, Steve. As you said, here with Darren Smith, and I'm kind of shocked. He's standing here saying, don't let him score. Don't let him score. It's just a scrimmage.
It's a scrimmage, but, it's about pride, and we want to be a dominating defense this year on all levels. So, our thing is we want to go out and play well every week. Our ideal is we want to be the reason why we win. We don't want to be the reason why we lose. So, you look at the great teams of the past who've been to the Super Bowl. They've always had great defenses. So that's the kind of defense we want to have this year and get us to the big show.
One of the questions people have about this defense, however, is the linebackers, for various reasons. How do you feel about that? What do you think about this group?
I think our group is coming along very well. I think we got a good mixture of veteran leadership and a lot of young guys out there who are able to run around, and I think that's going to really help us out a lot. I think a lot of the things that we're doing different on defense are going to allow us to be more aggressive, to have more vision on the ball. So we're excited about that, and we're coming together as a whole unit. And we have some new people in place right now who also bringing some other things to our team, speed and leadership. So we feel like we have a good mixture and a good combination.
Talk about brains and bronze. This is one of the few people in the National Football League with an MBA. Darren Smith and all the Saints. Thanks a lot. All right, back up to you, Steve.
All right, Ro. And meanwhile, the saga of Will Pettis continues. Will Pettis has had a tough night. Torrey Woodbury got hit as he threw a bullet right to the numbers of Will Pettis.
Will, you got to help him out, man. That's 3 you've dropped, son.
And we've got pom-pom action in the crowd. 18,000 here to see the New Orleans Saints in their black and gold scrimmage. And not far from opening day, September 7th at Seattle. August 11th, preseason opener at home against Philadelphia in the Superdome.
You know what, Steve? Will Pettis isn't going to sleep a wink tonight.
He gets home.
He's going to hate himself.
Those guys on TV were all over you.
He can't wait. He can't wait not to see the film tomorrow.
That's Jerry Fontenot signing autographs in his hometown. And we are, I believe, well over the 12-play limit here. They're getting a good long look at Torrey Woodbury as Jerry Fontenot continues to sign.
Walt Williams doing a great job out there carrying the ball.
Yeah. And you're seeing, you got Martin Chase is out there. Kenny Smith now back out there with Kendrick Allen from LSU. And those are the inside tackles. And here's the handoff to Williams, who threads his way through the linebackers and out to the 21-yard line. Let's take a look at the schedule here for the Saints. And it starts off on the 7th at Seattle at 3 o'clock. And then the home opener a week later against the Houston Texans with Dom Capers and company. Then on the road, a tough one at Tennessee. Then Peyton Manning and the Colts come to the Superdome on the 28th. On the road to the Carolina Panthers on the 5th. At home against the Bears on the 12th. The Falcons. And then, of course, you see the first of 2 meetings against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on November 2nd. The schedule wraps up with the Dallas Cowboys on December 28th at 12 noon. And tickets
It's going to be a tough schedule, especially second half of the year, Steve.
Oh, yeah. You got Tampa Bay twice in that second half pull.
Yeah, well, you got their number, though.
Yeah, that's Atlanta you got to try to get. The Falcons, of course, had the Saints number a year ago. Here's Woodbury now down there in 4-down territory. He throws the screen, and that is to Spencer Frederick out of Midwestern State. He's a rookie. So Frederick on the reception, Alfage, and also Travis Carroll in on the stop. We're down to the 3rd level deep on the depth chart in a lot of positions out there, although Kenny Smith just trotted off the field. We talked with Darren Smith a while ago. He's going to be in a battle with Orlando Ruff at the middle linebacker position.
Well, they got some battles going on there.
Yep.
Each one of these younger guys out here at this point, they have to show up.
How about Derek Rogers and James Allen?
That's going to be another one. Allen did some great things last year in kind of a backup role.
Well, what about that touchdown against Tampa Bay?
Oh, that was great, wasn't it?
Fenderson on the carry. He's back in for Walt Williams. It's another first down, and now you're down into the red zone. I think Jim Haslett's going to let this scrimmage continue to see what the result of this
You can
drive.
best believe that on the defensive side of the ball, they're saying there's no way we're going to let these guys score on us. So this should get interesting.
Yep, it's going to be 1st and 10, and they're at the 13-yard line. Torrey Woodbury out of Winston-Salem State. He's had a good long stretch, probably had more reps than any quarterback here, including Bowman and Brooks.
He commanded a good leadership of that offense.
Shaw is split wide out one side. Talman Gardner is down to the bottom side of your screen. On 1st and 10, Woodbury guns it for the end zone. He wanted Gardner. And it was broken up by Elfage.
Let's go
5 dimes. Now we've got Rick Venturi, defensive coordinator. Mike, let's see what he's got to say.
I tell you what, though, if Kenny can go get Willie out, get Kenny in there. No, he just came out because White went in. See, I don't want. Willie's the guy I don't want in there.
Give a rare insight about personnel on the end zone. 2nd down and 10 to go at the 13-yard line. There's Torrey Woodbury and the draw play to Fenderson. And Fenderson runs smack dab into J.J. Jones.
King, see if he goes Kings.
On the carry.
King,
number 27.
Another guy competing for one of those inside linebacker spots.
Oh, that was red team.
Oh, yeah.
Red team. Here we go. Oh, wait. God damn it. Regular.
Rick Venturi coaching hard here in this situation. 3rd down and 6. Ball is inside the 10. Talman Gardner out wide. Look at Rick. It's not just a scrimmage to Rick Venturi.
Shotgun. Never is.
There's Woodbury. Throw for the corner, had a man out there. That was Fenderson, and Corey Hall was covered.
Field goal. We're off there. No points. That's it. Good job.
So the field goal goes out. Venturi said, they're not scoring on us.
Is there a football coach or what?
That's a special teams guy's area. Right. That's not mine.
We turned 3 points. That's it. That's okay with him.
So John Carney will come in. And this will be out of the hold of his new holder, Mitch Berger. There's Jim Haslett. As the black and gold scrimmage is about to come to a close. As a result of this scoring attempt here, which is going to be a 27-yard field goal, dead center, out of the hold of Mitch Berger. And John Carney splits the upright, as he's done many times. And T.D. Smith just announced the score. Saints 3, Saints nothing. The Saints are a winner all the way around, and 18,000 looked on at the black and gold scrimmage for the New Orleans Saints as they get ready for their preseason opener on August 11th. Post-scrimmage comments when we return. The action doesn't stop after the game. Coming up next on Cox Sports Television, they're proud to present the debut of the Saints-Sations Cheerleaders in Paradise. I better turn up the AC because the night's only going to get hotter.
It's getting hot in here.
Oh, yeah. That's coming up next.
It just got real hot in here with that.
Oh, I'm telling you. Show that all day. All right, the Saints-Sations are coming up. I know, you've been waiting for them. We'll let you have them here in just a few minutes on Cox Sports Television. Final comments on the black and gold scrimmage when we come back to Lafayette after this. We are back in Lafayette. There's Aaron Brooks signing autographs. It's been a big night. The Saints were winners all around in front of 18,000 fans at the black and gold scrimmage here at Cajun Field. And standing by down on the field with Coach Jim Haslett is our Jordy Holbrook.
Thank you very much. Well, first and foremost, nobody got hurt. That's always a good thing. And give us your thoughts of what you saw tonight.
Well, I was pleasantly surprised. First of all, I'm thankful that nobody got hurt. This is the first time we've tackled all year. We had and I thought the tackling was outstanding. There was very few missed tackles. We didn't do a lot. We tried to let them play. I thought the defense was outstanding. You could see the speed on defense. We moved the ball on offense fairly well. Then we stalled on some third downs. But I thought Aaron looked sharp. And I thought our wideouts did a good job.
Deuce went into conditioning. He didn't play much tonight.
Well, we plan on kind of working Deuce in this, so he's not going to play much. We're going to kind of work him in the preseason games. We had Deuce and Joe and Wayne Gandy, and Jerry Fontenot, 4 of our starters, Bentley too, 5 of our starters on offense conditioning because a couple of them are nicked up, but really just trying to get them ready for the season.
So you told us prior to the game, one, you want to see if the defense tackles better. You were pleased with that. And then you want to see individual players. And I know it's tough without looking at film, but that Woodbury kid looked like he can throw the ball and run with the ball.
Well, he's an excellent athlete. He's a guy that, for the Jets, ran down the kickoff team and punt team. And he's a really good athlete. He knows the offense. So hopefully, he'll work out and he can, we'll keep him around.
Give us a grade, A, B, C, or D tonight.
Oh, I don't know. You know what? You got to look at the film. Yeah. I was at practice the other day. I thought it was a bad practice, and I look at film as a great practice. So I'm really glad that nobody got hurt, and we got a long way to go, but it's good to get going.
And the crowd, what kind of grade do you give them?
They give them an A+, maybe plus. It was outstanding. Anytime you can get a crowd like this for a scrimmage, and hopefully put on a pretty good show, and I appreciate him coming out.
Well, you give the players a day off, but you got to go and burn the midnight oil looking at film. Thanks for spending some time with us.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay. Jim Haslett, he wouldn't give us a grade, but I think he was pleased overall with the performance, and the masses are coming around. So, Steve, take it away.
All right. Thanks, Jordy. Well, Steve, it was an interesting night. Aaron threw well. Aaron didn't get hurt, so it was a big night for the Saints.
Anytime you get guys this early in the preseason, I should say, and you get that kind of continuity and that kind of play, people concentrating, wasn't sloppy, timing's down, it's going to be okay.
Well,
good practice.
Very good practice.
Very good practice.
And very good working with you, too.
I appreciate you as well.
We had a ball, and we hope you enjoyed our coverage here in Lafayette as the Saints ended their first week of training camp. And they come in, and the Saints are a big winner. John Carney's 27-yard field goal, the only thing that got on the board. Jim Haslett happy with the defense, happy with the tackling, and happy with Aaron Brooks. I want to thank you for joining Cox Sports Television from Lafayette. Coming up next, well, it's what we've all been waiting for. It's the Saints-Sations Cheerleaders in Paradise. Paradise. Farrell Brown as Joe Horn exits the field in regular season play. Jordy Holtberg, Steve Court, I'm Steve Martin, and once again, we want to thank you for tuning in to Cox Sports Television. The Saints open up their season with the black and gold scrimmage. They'll start firing it for real on August 11th when they take on Philadelphia in their first preseason game. Good night, everybody, from Lafayette.